The Greenspun Hall, founded in 2008, making out to 90,000 square gross feet out large with about 5 floors and tons of students. You have the Urban Affairs College, along with the School of Journalism, the School of Criminal Justice, and the School of Social Work. But the School of Journalism is, of course, why you're here today, so let's go ahead and explain a little bit about it. We have UNLV-TV, our television production station here that does all sorts of wondrous programs. KUNV, HD1, and an FM station that allows students to just hear a wide breadth of voices and community knowledge and community voices. Then we have the Brookings Institute that gives off wondrous and amazing lectures about the great works they'd like to do with the metropolitan area and the area of Las Vegas, focusing in metropolitan policy. But why tell you when I can just show you? You came in at such a great time, so let's see if we can head over from Studio F to Studio G. Let's go ahead and walk on over there. In this studio you can see amazing, wonderful things, lights, cameras that equal to a production value of quite a lot. The Greenspun family gave us $10 million, a wonderful donation from them, to give off the state-of-the-art equipment. This is our jib. We're able to do some wonderful angles with it, show off the entire studio as well with the work that lots of students do. In this studio, we do programs like The Scramble and Studio G, along with a debate that we did here when we had the presidential debate on our campus. So through this doorway, we're going to go ahead and go into the hall of the UNLV-TV and KUNV offices. First place we're going to head off to is Studio G, where they're just rehearsing their first episode of the day for their daily episodes that they do, daily newscasts rather. And through this door and behind this curtain, we have our anchors preparing. About 7 minutes out, so we have to make this pretty quick. As you can see, we have a green screen, our studio desk where we have our anchors preparing. That's Jessica and Jamie. We have these state-of-the-art cameras, 3 of which are able to be manned by students, learning all sorts of work and getting the experience and what it feels like to be in the real deal. Now I'm going to sneak through here and I'm going to go ahead and talk to Jamie Poole a little bit. Jamie is our anchor for the day along with Jessica, and Jamie's been a part of this program for this semester. So Jamie, I want to ask you, why Studio G and why the Journalism College?
I love Studio G. I feel like it's one of the best classes that I've had to actually put everything I've learned so far to use. And so it's like learning hands-on, so I really like that.
Do you feel like you're ready to go out there, to go work at a local station, to put your face out there?
Absolutely, and we see every day the tools that they use on TV that we're actually using here in class, so it's awesome.
And Jessica has had a lot of experience with doing things in weather. Jessica's been our weather lady for quite some time. And Jessica, how do you feel about your time as a weather woman?
I think it's great. I mean, we get the hands-on experience, and we go through anything that could go wrong with technical difficulties, and we manage to overcome it and still look good on camera.
Well, they always look good on camera, so they got nothing to worry about. So I think we've seen everything. Our wonderful desk that we got from Channel 8, our green screen, and our interview set that we have. No interview today, unfortunately, but we're wrapping that up with something else we'll show you in the newsroom. So there's our couches and our shrubbery and our foliage. Shrubbery is where we'll go with. And there's the logo you can see. So let's go back behind the curtain and take a look at what's happening in the control room. Now again, we're just a couple minutes out from doing the actual show today for the daily newscast. So we're going to go over there and talk to the producer for the newscast today. It's one Denise Hernandez. Through these halls, you can see the amazing amenities that we have for this school. Offices for the teachers, one of which, John Casanino, who has worked in the industry for quite some time. He actually worked at Fox 5 for a little while and was able to take his experience that he had there with putting it into the experience in the hands of students. Also, we have over here is the server room. 30 in-house servers with 30 online servers. We have something there called the NAS that has something around 144 terabytes of data storage that it holds. So anything that we need to store, it's more than a USB, a lot more actually. So back down this hallway, we have our little banners with all the wonderful pictures that we have of all the work we've done here. The audio room, where we have currently Joselle, who's working on her audio stuff. And you can see the video there with Alyssa getting ready to do the flash cam. We'll be going to the newsroom later. So as you can see, all sorts of camera angles, teleprompter running, and Joselle at the helm of the audio. So back over to the control room. It works jointly with all the stuff that we have in the audio room. In here we have the producer, the switcher, the tech director, the director, and of course Dr. Larson, the professor, at the head. 4 minutes out, so we only have a little while to talk to the producer, Denise, for the show today. Denise, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what it's like to be producer for the show?
Well, it's a lot of work, but it's all worthwhile in the end because you get to produce, a live cast, and it's really rewarding in the end.
And you've done this for how long now? You've been a producer 2 times, almost for a full year.
Yeah, I was part of Studio G last semester, and this is my second time around. I've been producing just about all of this semester, and I got to do 4 weeks last semester, so that's a lot of fun.
And she was also in charge for a 3-hour live show that we did of a debate with the student government debate on campus. So she was in charge of that, and I think it went pretty well, right, Denise?
It did. It was kind of interesting having to suddenly fill an hour instead of half an hour at the beginning of the show, but that's what, this class offers you. You have to be able to think on your feet really fast. So
she's really good at troubleshooting. So when you get an extra half hour that you need to fill for content, Denise is the one to call, so she did it. We have our weather 3 minutes out. Our weather panel over here where our weather producer is getting the pictures together. And you can see our playback monitor where Alyssa's currently giving her run-through for what she's doing in the newsroom. Our monitors are showing the time, the countdown, and also the servers are showing the news stories that will run today about Aaron Hernandez and what's going on around the world. We have Annabelle as our tech director and Albania as our director. All the jobs on her shoulders, all the responsibility and everything. No pressure, no pressure. She gets a rundown where she's able to look through all the stuff that she has to do, be it a story of the day, weather, or just a regular what we call a reader for the anchor to read to the viewers. 2 minutes out, so we got out just in time, but we'll be able to watch it a little bit. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and one other job we have to point out, Kayleen over at Playback. She's the strong man behind the scenes. She makes sure that all the video is played. And it's going to play right today, right, Kayleen?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be on point, I promise.
On point, I'll remember. Dr. Larson, anything you want to add for any prospective students on the virtual side?
Right now, man.
Well, we're selling it. And it's worth selling as well. Well, that's the control room, and we're going to leave just right before they do their broadcast. But where we're going to go now is we're going to go to the newsroom. The newsroom, we're going to show off a couple of the productions that we have. I have it on the monitor all set up. We have a multitude of programs. Studio G is just one of many. The Scramble, who is hosted by yours truly. Brookings Lectures, where we have those Brookings professors and students come down and give their lectures to students about metropolitan policy in Las Vegas. Then also we have Front Row Center, our entertainment show, along with Research Files, which is focused in knowledge-based, science-based, and a collective education-based show. Now let's go into the newsroom where we saw before Alyssa was preparing. We have our wonderful logo right here in the desk where we meet every single day to make sure that all the stuff we go over is just as precise and wonderful as we like it. From stories to interviews, from interviews to shows, and from shows to live shows that we did for the debate. But why talk about all that when I can go ahead and show off a little bit about what our program is about? UNLV-TV is what we've been talking about for the most part here. The wonderful programs, as in to say the sports coverage we do. We've done things with TEDx, and we've also done the Scramble. And along those lines, students have been able to understand and experience all the things and off camera and learn to master an expertise to put it out there in the industry. Many people that work here locally are from the university, be it from a cameraman to an anchor to a reporter to a producer. People that learn those tools learn it right here at UNLV and UNLV-TV for broadcast at least. But let's go around the office that we have, the newsroom rather. Alyssa's getting ready, but she's at Block C, which means that it's been a little ways till she starts showing. Alyssa, you want to open up about your job and what you're doing today? She's on the flash cam for what we're doing. Alyssa, explain what UNLV-TV has been to you, Studio G, in the Journalism College.
It's definitely been a benefit to me. This is actually the field that I want to go into as a career, is broadcast journalism, so it's definitely provided hands-on experience, an experience that I don't think I would get in any other class. It's just definitely taught me things about iNews, about iVetted, and just going out and having to make your own stories and then just getting to showcase them and anchor, and it's just
and
great.
Alyssa's been able to interview some bigwigs. She was able to interview the North Las Vegas mayor, and now here she is getting ready to do a flash cam. You can see right here, this is the playback for the show, and there's a teleprompter, and there's us right there. So we have a cavalcade of things. The editing software that we use, like Alyssa mentioned, is in fact Avid. We have many computers for students to use, and our monitors are always showing us the news. All local channels from Channel 13, Channel 8, Channel 5, and Channel 3 to make sure that if there's news, that we know about it. So our little office complex allows us to experience a little bit of what it's like to be in the industry. But journalism covers many forms, and UNLV-TV isn't just where we stop. Outside of the Journalism College is the independent paper, the Free Press. It made headlines last semester when they changed their name from the Rebel Yell to the Scarlet Gray Free Press. Now, we wanted to make sure that we were able to hear from them, so with us we have the managing editor of the Free Press, Blaze Lobel, and here he is to talk with us a little bit as we have the show playing in the background.
Yep, great show.
Well, yeah, well, it's Denise producing today, so we can't say anything bad because she'll know about it if we do. So, Blaze, go ahead and explain to Cam a little bit what the paper offers to students interested in journalism and what they can find there and what you've done so far.
So, for journalism students, of course, you have Studio G. It's a student-run newscast, but there's no student-run print production, and that's where we come in. We fill that void that the virtual Rebel left when it basically fell apart a couple semesters ago or last semester, and you know, we provide that real-world experience for young journalists to test their skills. They're taking what they learn in their classes and applying it to a real-life setting so that they can get those clips and extra experience before they go out and try to look for a job or internship. And
currently the Free Press has been doing some hard-hitting stories. They covered the election that we had for the student government election. Recently there was issues with it, and they've been doing the hard-hitting work to make sure that students know all about what's happening with their votes. Blaze, is there anything that you feel like students should know extra about what it's like to work at the paper? Maybe something that you've experienced that you think is a good advertising tool for students looking to work in the paper?
Yeah, you know, the big thing is, if you look at all of our alumni, a lot of them have gone on to work at pretty big reporting jobs within the Valley and in other states. Our editor-in-chief just landed an internship at the RJ. For myself, I've been selected as one of the interns to work at an investigative news outlet in Honolulu. So if you really want to get into journalism, hardcore journalism, and be the watchdog you always wanted to be, Scarlet Gray Free Press is where to start.
He's working in investigative journalism in Honolulu. I think the only thing you're investigating there is where's the best place to get sun, right?
Well, I mean, there's other things, you know, like the sand crab population. That's decreasing. Very important news for us.
Yeah, well, if you go here at the Journalism College, whether it's journalism inside Greenspun Hall or outside, you're almost guaranteed to get a job like Blaze. So that's great. Thank you, Blaze, so much.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and go from the paper back to a couple more things in broadcasting. Now, we mentioned a couple of our programs before. We mentioned Studio G, we mentioned the Scramble, but the Rebel Report is one that we skipped over. The sports programming that we have here at the university is just important to what we do here. John Casnino, who we mentioned before, is the person or the professor that teaches that class, and the big hitting reporting that they recently did was the moving over of the Raiders stadium here to Las Vegas, the Raiders team rather. And that coverage of the vote for the NFL for the Raiders team here to move here was pretty big, and the students that got to cover it were from here. Cassie Soto and Haley Brooks were able to cover that, and let's go ahead and take a look at a couple clips from their story.
Because we were there in the room when Commissioner Roger Goodell made the announcement. As you know, we just finished a very important discussion regarding the relocation proposal by the Raiders, which our owners approved overwhelmingly.
My father used to say that the greatness of the Raiders is in its future, and the opportunity to build a world-class stadium in the entertainment capital of the world is one opportunity that will give us the ability to achieve that greatness. I have mixed feelings, obviously. I love Oakland. I love the fans in Oakland. And I know that there's going to be disappointment and maybe some anger. And I just hope that in the future, as we play in Oakland this year, that they understand that it wasn't the players, it wasn't the coaches that made this decision, but it was me that made it. And if they have anybody to talk to about it, it should be me. And I will, in the coming days, try to explain to them what went into making this difficult decision.
So that's Cassie Soto and Haley Brooks's footage. That's the two right there. And that's not footage from any sort of pool cam. No, that's them recording that. And it's opportunities like that that allow you, if you come to UNLV, to the Journalism College, it allows you to rub shoulders with people from NFL, ESPN, or the Raiders themselves. But let's go ahead and go down this hallway and look at, we want to make sure that what we're talking about isn't just what's available at the 400 level for classes, but the 100 level as well. Now, the 100 level of classes, I have to say, is just as great as the 400 level. We're walking to the editing lab right now, where we're going to just take a peek into what tools students have when they first enter the Journalism College, and maybe walk by a couple classrooms. Kathy Espin is one of the professors. She's currently teaching an interviewing class, or a class, and she teaches interviewing. We're not going to pop in that class. We don't want to be too disturbing to her while she's teaching that class, but we do want to pop in the editing lab. So out in the hallway here, get to see the wonderful rooms that we have, as well as students studying and getting ready to take their classes. Down this hallway, we have the lobby where we show off all of our productions, so if ever you're in charge of a production, you get to show it off in the hallway while people are waiting for you, which is always nice. In the editing lab, this is the 100 and 200 level of stuff we got going on. Currently, we're doing a Facebook Live video and showing virtual students what opportunities we have here. So we have a couple students, and we have all of the monitors all ready. Software called iNews, where we send up all those stories and all those interviews back up to the producer. We are talking about UNLV-TV. Let's move over to KUNV, our HD station, and the FM station. The station has been in works for quite some time. We have, again, state-of-the-art equipment with our radio station. They have the system that they have allows students and professors to, wherever they are, from whichever room they're in, to talk to each other. So if you're in an editing room and you're doing a story and you need to go talk to someone on air who is currently in an audio room doing a show on the FM station, they're able to from an editing lab, which is not something that is that much of an easy task to do. Let's go ahead and pop into one of the FM stations right now where they might be doing a show. One thing we do want to tease is 91.5, the HD3 channel, is currently in the works right now. But what it's got coming, I'll just tease a little bit and say there's good things coming. That's currently where we're due with the 91.5 FM station. That's where you hear the Jazz Lounge from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's where you have all the professors in there covering and making sure that Las Vegas's smooth jazz is as smooth as the voices that give it. Let's go ahead and walk down here and look at one of the other rooms we have. The 91.5 FM station also grants students to show their music abilities. In the room we're about to go to, we have live music. Students are able to play the piano, play the guitar, and one recent student was able to get his band in here and have his band play active on the radio. And that's one of the other wonderful things about KUNV. Students are able to craft what they want to do in music and not just show it off to their friends, but show it off to the whole university. And if that's not something that any university can offer, then I don't know what is. The other tools that KUNV has is allowing for work between UNLV-TV and KUNV. We have systems available so that UNLV-TV can plug in at any moment, bring their cameras in here, and record what's going on. So we make sure that everything that's happening between KUNV is also what's happening with UNLV-TV. Now, something else you should know is that these rooms are completely sound isolated. The best of the best equipment is put into these studios and control rooms. So the editing lab, the studio, and this very room are made with state-of-the-art equipment. These rooms are floored with something called neoprene. And neoprene is pretty much like a rubber that allows this room to be what we call a, quote, floating room. This room may be attached to the building it's in, but it is essentially floating on rubber and equipment that make it isolated from the building it's in. Again, this equipment, state-of-the-art, exactly what you would find at any day-by-day radio station, and behind this glass window are always students. There might not be one right now, but students are the ones that are always producing the content, making sure that everything is good, and making sure that everyone's talking sounds great. But this being this station, and this room rather, this studio, it is something lackluster to show that it's not full. But we have a room that is full, and that's just right across the hallway where we have Jason doing our current show bylines and baselines. And we're just going to pop in there. He's a freshman that is currently hosting his own show. That's no simple matter. That again shows that students here are able to jump right into the industry and show exactly what they got. But let's go ahead and listen about what's going on there for bylines and baselines.
He picked up the nut, and it's just now looking good for the Utah Jazz as they, will get into those games coming up. But we gotta go into Sunday now. Sunday had some interesting games as well, and a turn of events for a all-star player. So before we get into that, we want to talk about the first game of the match, of the match day at 10 a.m. where the Wizards went on to play the Hawks. And the Wizards came up with a 114-107 win. As expected, honestly, the Wizards are just outmastering the Hawks in almost any and every stat. When it comes to points scored, rebounds, assists, when it comes to defense and offense, who can provide the ball? John Wall in his match.
And that's going out live. That's on air on HD2. So again, students are able to make sure that their voice, as soon as they get here, are able to just shout it out and let everyone hear it on the university. And let's show off one of the other small things. Just like in the newsroom for UNLV-TV, we have an office complex for students to really get that industry feel. KUNV also has that. In here, surrounded by CDs, as you can see over here, KUNV makes sure that when they create music, they aren't just creating music. They're also surrounded by it. Examples of a cavalcade of things to make sure that they keep in mind whenever they're producing the content and rubbing shoulders with record producers, that they are keeping in mind all the wonderful and varieties of music that they have behind them. Additionally, something else we want to advertise is KUNV is currently advertising their record Saturdays, and what they've been doing is they have had a live record table in their studio playing so that students can hear what it's like to actually hear a vinyl record for those people that prefer digital audio and get a feel for it. KUNV has also worked with, like I said, record producers. So if you're interested in getting your voice out there, getting your band out there, getting your music out there, you're able to come to KUNV and make sure that your mission is solid. Let's go from this workroom back to the newsroom, where we're going to go ahead and wrap up all the stuff we have and talk about what it means for you. Make sure I close this door. Well, that's been UNLV-TV, KUNV. We've covered Brookings, we've covered Rebel Report, we've covered Scramble. So we'll make sure we cover all of our bases back in the newsroom. Have you already gone? No, she hasn't gone yet. So we'll finish up over here with a montage of all of our wonderful programs. UNLV-TV, KUNV, and all the other programs surrounding it, along with the Free Press, isn't just a university program. It's a student program. That means all of this content you're seeing isn't made by professors. It's shot, produced, written, anchored, and made by students. These aren't seniors, these aren't juniors, these aren't people that are too high up and too up with their education to get down in the muddied waters of making sure that their content is as good as they want to make it. These are people working from their freshman and sophomore year and working up and over to make sure that they work from that associate producership to a senior producership to being a host, to being a president of their own program. This is what is entirely important to understand about UNLV, that everything that you see, watch, and consume is consumed by students and made by students. And that's where we're going to leave it. UNLV, if you go here, which we hope you do, we hope that you take an interest in the journalism college, because what you consume shouldn't be just made by some other guy in some other university or state or country. We want to give you the opportunity that what you will watch will someday be you. So thank you, and we hope you take interest in the journalism college.